Hey Jessina, hey Andre, hi Sonja, you are all welcome. Let's keep waiting on other colleagues to join in, and then yeah, we'll be good to go in a few. Greetings to all of you. Hope the week was really good on your end. Yeah, I will give it like 3 more minutes to just get a quorum, and then we start off. Can you hear me all that side?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I'm giving it 1 more minute, and after that, I think I'll just start at 5 minutes of 6, which is 5 for the friends in Serbia and Rwanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just give it 1 more minute. Yeah. At least
Okay.
5 minutes, I believe, are enough for everyone to join in. If you're late, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start it from here as other colleagues join in. You're all welcome for the 8th class on sound design. I know last time you tackled, the last 2 weeks, you've been touching something in relation with DAWs, and I believe now you're really familiar with on how you can move and go around different DAWs. I hope you've been experimenting. Yeah, in these few days that you've had. I hope you had some time to go through some of these. Yeah.
Sorry, I have one question.
Yes, Sonja.
Sonia, I
Yes.
tried to install Cubase, and I realized it's a pro software, so I didn't install it. I didn't try. I saw also you recommend some other pro softwares.
Yeah,
I
Pro
want to
Tools.
tell you, yes, but I don't know if I want pro software because I'm completely beginner. So do you have any alternative? And I want to tell you about, I go to all three courses we have, and your course is the most serious, I would say.
Okay.
You talk to us like we are professional. I like that, but maybe I cannot, I don't know, accomplish everything. So now I have that problem with software. Do you have some idea? Or okay, do you have? Can you help me somehow?
Um, Thank you for raising that concern. And yeah, apologies that you've been using me if you've been using hard language on you. I thought we are using yeah, something with like just using the terms that we use in sound. About that issue of software, I believe you can use other alternatives if Cubase is disturbing. You can use something like Pro Tools is also still professional, but you can use Audacity. You can use Adobe Audition. They all have free versions, trial versions. You can download those and then you can check out. You can also refer to the other examples that we mentioned in our previous classes. You can visit those two PDFs and even PDF of class 5, I believe. Is it class 5 or class 6? Yeah, they all have these different options of the different softwares that you can use. But I believe Audition might be easier for you, or Audacity.
Okay, thank you. I will find. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to refer to the PDFs that we shared earlier, and you try to check out for all those different options that we gave in the PDFs. You can download all those and then you keep trying to find one that works for you. Uh, I'm still waiting for a few other colleagues, but it's like most of them are really late. So I'm just going to kickstart because we are already 9 minutes into the session. I believe everyone should have been able to log in by now. So, uh, or as we wait, any other person who has a concern who would really want to inquire about something can ask now as we wait for 2 more minutes max. 2 more minutes max, and if we still have just this quorum, I'll just kickstart the class and go on. Any other questions from Jessina or Andre?
For me, I have the same problem. I did not install the programs, and my computer doesn't have enough spaces, I think. But I'm making these classes because I work with. Sometimes I'm in events. I don't really do the sounds, but I wanted to understand how things can go. How can I ask for more beautiful things to do if I know the things? But it's not really that I'm gonna make it. I really like sounds, maybe one day, but right now life is a little bit hard. I've made an operation since I had these classes in my bag. I couldn't really touch the making movements.
Okay.
I have a parent that died, so I'm here every day, but I'm not doing the exercises.
Mm.
So I decided to be lovely with myself and say I can't. But I have the classes. One day I will get into them and I know I will make beautiful works because I love this.
Oh, thank you. So you are into events management, basically, yeah?
Yes, I'm hotel manager, and the live music is something that came to me. I already organize music in the hotels.
Mm.
When I make events, there are always music. The music come to me. Right now, I'm working with a guy that it's he talk in radio, and he have a place where he make interview to artists and he make
Mm.
live streaming in the same moment. And I'm with
Okay.
him. I make the interviews. He make
Mm.
the sound, the transmission, all these kind of things. So I have where I can touch and make. things, but not in this moment. And at this moment, my life it's a little bit rush.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I maybe I cannot make the tasks. So I don't want to put myself in pressure.
No, you will try, and thanks for really showing interest in audio. Yes. Personally, I also didn't start in audio, but now it's what I'm doing professionally. I started into acting, but I got interest in sound, and it was at a time when I was really interested in production management. And as a production manager, I wanted to know at least something about everything that is run in production. I learned something about light. I learned something about sound. I learned something about production design. But yeah, now I do most of these things professionally. So you showing interest is really important. You never know when you use this skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks
Yeah.
for this.
I like beautiful things. So sometimes I go to some places and I think, okay, this can be better. But when you don't know how to do it, you cannot ask some other people to do it.
Yeah. At least having some knowledge about it is itself really important to help you out as you run this, or as you ask for more. It comes from an informed decision because you know you have some information about this, about what you're asking for. Yeah. So I think I'll close it there, and I wish you quick recovery. Yeah.
I can ask something.
Yes.
Because I'm really interested. Cape Verde has beautiful musics, but we don't dance them really because DJ plays songs that I don't love. And I would like to learn to mix a program where I can mix music with put my sounds. I would like to start making this kind of thing, but I don't know which program to use to make mixes in musics that exist already.
Which kind of mixes? Like non-stop mixes, music tracks?
Yes, to put them like now we dance, now we change. I don't know the names in English. I don't know.
Okay, it's the same. You can use the same software, the DAWs that you've learnt about, to join these different sounds and music tracks that you have.
Okay, the one that was making exercise last class.
Yes, the last two classes, what you've been running through the DAWs, how you can cut and join sounds. It's the same principle that is used in doing those mixes.
Okay,
and
thank
then
you.
you know when to fade in and fade out a particular track.
Yeah, and I know when we start to touch on the programs, now the next day and the next day you see more things. I already make things like this, start like a baby, and when I touch, and then I see things. They just come.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Nice. I think I'm going now to start on our class. It's Mastering Sound Design for Theater. This is day 8, meaning we have 2 more classes. And according to the email that we shared last week, you have to start on your, like, preparing for your final assignments, do the analysis, and all. You will need all whatever we listed in that email to be sent before we go in for the last class. I think that's the Thursday of let me be quite certain of what of the date. So that's on 14th. Yeah, we say that by 14th everybody should be done with the assignment and it's sent in. Yeah, that's going to be your role to do. Moving on. So the sound designer's role is crucial in ensuring that sound should not only complement but enhance the visual element on stage. We are still talking about the role of the sound designer in this. And by carefully curating audio elements such as ambient sounds, effects, music, sound design, create and also immerse environment for the audience. So it's more of a recap of what we have already talked about in the earlier classes, the role of a sound designer in making sure that everything audio is well curated and arranged for the audience to have a good experience. One is as a sound designer, you really have to ensure that there is clarity in dialogue or whatever the person is listening to as the audience member, and even the actors or a performer. I won't only focus on actors because we don't only do sound design for actors, but we do sound design for dancers, poets, and so on. Help set the tone and mood for the performance. It's your role as a sound designer through your creations to set the right tone and mood for this performance for both the audience and the performers, because if the performer doesn't get the right mood, that means even their delivery will be affected. Then facilitates smooth transitions between scenes. Sometimes dancers, actors, poets switch their actions or lines according to the cue given by the sound designer's effect or music or whatever you're playing as a sound designer. So we always need to remember that we have a crucial role in transitions for scenes or other activities running on stage. Today, we are really going to focus more on the tech riders. We've hinted on this before, but today we want to go really deep into the technical rider. And what does a technical rider mean? A technical rider is a detailed document that specifies all the technical needs of a theatrical production. Or you can, sometimes you can drop the theatrical and then just say the technical needs of a production. A detailed document that really highlights everything technical that you might need for this particular production. It's used to communicate the sound requirements. Okay, let me clarify this. Tech riders not only work for sound. Technical riders work in other departments as well. Sometimes you will find a technical rider that covers sound, lights, props, set, and so on. So every department, in most cases, develops a technical rider, even though now we are just focusing on the technical rider as a sound designer or sound department. Yeah, it's used to communicate the sound requirements between the production team and the venue technical team or technical staff, so that we have everything from the equipment to the setup addressed in advance. A technical rider is not something that you will develop at the day of the event. It's something that you develop days, sometimes months or hours before the event, so that it helps you to cross-check everything you might need. In this technical rider, you'll have the equipment specifications. What kind of equipment do you need to carry for this particular event that you're going to do sound for or design sound for? What kind of speakers, microphones, anything equipment related you need to highlight, because you've done a full assessment of the production. You understand it better than anyone as a sound designer. In the angle of sound, you are able to analyze it better than any other person, not even your director or your production managers and so on. Then the stage setup requirements. As a a technical as a sound designer, you need to develop your tech rider depending on the demands you have for your stage setup. Then the operational needs. What kind of things do you need to make sure that your production runs smoothly? These are things that you do list and share with the venue technical team or your production team to ensure that everything is noted earlier and prepared for. This comes after you taking time to analyze, do a proper script or production analysis to know what you really need to carry for this production. The key components of the technical rider. To create an effective rider, you need things like equipment requirement. This includes all the sound gear, microphones. I've hinted on that. What kind of microphone do you need? Do you need to carry a lapel, or do you need to carry a condenser dynamic microphone? Depending on what the activity that is going to happen in this production, it will dictate or inform you of what kind of microphone you need to use, and that means you'll have to highlight that. So that this is two-way. You might be going to be operating from the very venue, the venue that you always operate from, or you are visiting a new location, so you don't know what to expect to find there. So you take time off to do your script analysis and know that I will need this. I have this kind of instruments. What is the best microphone to use on this? What's the best microphone to use on a violin? What's the best microphone to use on a trumpet? What's the best microphone to use on the drums, depending on whatever, or the vocals? How is my performer moving? If I use a boom mic on stage, is it limiting them? Or if I give them a lapel, is it something that is really functional? So depending on all that analysis, it will inform you on what kind of microphone to like list in this technical rider, so that by the time you come for this particular performance, you already have everything listed. You know what you need to use, and the team that is going to host you also has prepared the right tool for you. The kind of speakers you're to use, you know the space you're going to operate in. So if it's a small room, what size of the speakers do you need to use in this room? If it's a playfield or open ground, what kind of speakers do you think you might need to use for this particular venue? List it so that you prep accordingly. Input or output channels. So, different instruments and microphones and so on have different input options. If you know it, can you list it that I'm using a microphone that inputs a jack, that inputs a 3.5 mm aux cable, that inputs XLR, that inputs USB, and so on. Be able to highlight this in the technical rider so that it saves time during the time of production, or when you come to set up. You've already listed everything that you need to use technically. The person who is going to receive you will take time off to look for those things in case they don't have them, or even you yourself, because you've listed whatever you need, you know the kind of inputs and output connectors you need, you'll spend time and go research and get the right tools to use. The stage plot. Take time to draw a diagram that explains how you're going to place your equipment on stage. Where do you want your stage monitors? Where do you want your front of house PA? Or okay, public address system. I will limit using some of the words because now I need to yeah. Sometimes we forget and use such words and we feel like we are talking to already experienced professionals, but apologies for that. Yeah. Do draw that diagram to explain the distance. Sometimes if you have even the measurements, you can specify that I want monitor A to be 5 meters away from monitor B. I want my sub or base speaker to be these inches or these meters close to my drummer. You get you can specify all this in the technical rider so that the team preps accordingly. The sound cues in this tech rider, you've gone through the script, you know when to play what. So list what prompts you to play that cue or to switch to a particular song. Is it a line? Is it a dance move? What is it? Like, identify this in your rider that at this particular point, I'll have to switch from sound effect B to sound effect E, and so on. Okay? Highlight everything in your rider to know that you know this is the time I'm switching to this. Then the communication systems. How is your crew going to be communicating during the show or even during the time of setup? Have you planned for that? Are you going to be shouting to each other that, oh, go and change mic B, go and change the mic in this part? Are you going to just be shouting during the production? Or have you planned about that? That I'll need to use intercom, I will need to use radio calls and so on, or I will be just using the phone. Have you planned for that? Or can you list your demands in your technical rider so that the production team is able to prepare for that? Okay. I'll just emphasize this. You can't develop a technical rider minus you taking good time to analyze whatever you need to analyze in that script. Okay. Creating a clear, how do you create a clear tech rider? One, write a clear and precise tech rider is, writing a clear and precise technical rider is essential for smooth production. Why? Be specific when you're writing this rider. Be specific. What exact thing do you need to use? Okay. Describe the kind of equipment that I need for my lead vocalist, my lead musician. They will use the dynamic microphone, the Shure SM58. I will need my lead actors to wear lapels. If you can even identify the kind of lapel that you need, identify it. That I will need the actor to use an Audio-Technica lapel, a Sennheiser lapel, if you need to really go that like specific on details. I'll need a condenser microphone, AKG or a particular condenser microphone, let's say Sennheiser 416 to be used on the violin. I'll need this dynamic microphone to be used on the cello, and so on. Be specific so that the people who are planning to help you, or the team that has to help you during the acquisition of these particular instruments or microphones and so on, know exactly what you need to use. unspent issues. Think ahead of whatever that might happen. I have my personal philosophy when I'm running production, both as a sound guy, engineer or as a production manager or stage manager. My philosophy is whatever can go wrong may go wrong. So how do you plan for that? Always as you're developing this rider or as you're preparing for any production, think of any small thing that can happen and disrupt you. Is it power? Is it someone running over your cables? Rain? Or like a microphone going wrong? Think about all that and list and start planning for the possible solutions of if it happens, what if it happens? What can I do? You shouldn't be thinking about this at a time when you're about to start production. Sorry, when production is already running. You have to think about this early enough. Just give me a minute. I need to switch my power system and then I come. Less than a minute, I'll be back. So. Okay, I'm now back. Sorry about that. You see, that's what we talking about unspent anything that can go wrong. Yeah, as I was preparing, I forgot to plug in my charger. You see, and now I just saw like as I was running the class, I saw a warning that battery might run down shortly. at the exact moment when I'm talking about unspent. You see, you need to plan. So one of the things that have helped me is I knew the charger is on my side. It's here. If imagine if it was in another room, I would be taking a lot of time to fix this. Or if I'd prepped early, I would have just connected direct and I have that solved. So it's the same spirit that you should carry as a sound designer. Unspent anything that can go wrong. Okay. Simplify the language. Use the terms that the venue crew will understand, or the person, whichever person you're working with will understand. And now I feel guilty for this, that sometimes we've been using heavy words that might not be really easy for some of you to internalize. You get, so as I communicate, I shouldn't be coming here and tell you that get me a 3.5 aux cable if I know you don't understand that. I should just use simple words of get me the small pin cable. Maybe that would be the easier way of this person understanding it. So as you're communicating with these crew members or any person that you're working with, be able to use words or a language that is easy for them to understand. I have an example of a tech rider here. I'm also going to share it in your chat so that you can be able to, Yeah, I believe now you should be having it in the chat. You can open it. That way it will be more clearer for you to see. This is a rider that I prepped for a play. It's a musical drama that had that we staged here in July. It had a cast of around 19, but I had a few, like, to prep accordingly, analyze what kind of microphones will I need to use, because I was hired to do sound for it, but the venue where I was going at our National Theatre, there is an in-house sound engineer. So for me to be able to get what I needed, I had to take time and develop a rider of what I need. What kind of microphone do I need a particular actor to use? Okay. For example, this is a play called She Loves Me. It's a musical drama. It has the lead character of Simple, then George, Amalia, and so on. I had to take time and know that my lead actor should be closer. My lead actors should be part of the opening channels. So I knew that on the mixer, I need the main 4 actors to be from channel 1 to channel 4. And I highlighted that they will be using lapels. All actors were using lapels, but because I wanted something in particular in number of channels, according to preference, who has more lines, I also arranged it like that. So you can see I specify that I will have a lapel for Simple, I'll have a lapel for George, for Amalia, a lapel for Irona, a lapel for Steve Kodai, for Mr. Marachek, for Alpad, and then I also like, you see that it's to detail. You know which actor is in which channel. Then even the support actors, support 1, you see they have that, support 3, support 4, support 5. I listed that. You should. Then I come to the chorus. I'll give you an example. Like at the chorus, I had an issue of, like, should I give them a condenser mic, or where are they standing? But at that time, I realized that they are also on stage, up at the stairs. So I decided to give them lapels. Earlier, I'd listed condenser mics, but I realized they're not functional for that particular position where they will be. So I had to switch. Because I know sometimes you can have issues and lapels either go mute or something happens. I planned accordingly and got like other ambient microphones, condenser microphones. They were my backup microphones. Positioned, you see, I listed it here that I will have a stage ambient mic positioned on the left side of the stage. I'll have one positioned center stage, and I will have one positioned stage right. And then I specify that they should be condenser microphones. Here, all of them are on lapels. You see how what we meant, but be specific on what you need. Then, because the music wasn't going to be played live, but rather being played through tracks, I listed where you see track left and track right. One might ask, why did I go for left and right? Because I wanted it to be fully balanced than playing it through one channel. I wanted the audience to have a full experience, whereby if the person who did the final mix panned certain items to the right, the audience could be able to feel something that was panned right and something that was panned left. Okay, that's being specific to detail. Then I come to the stage monitoring system. You see, I highlighted and was specific that the output or aux2 will have the stage monitor for downstage. So I don't know if we didn't talk about this different stage areas, but stage is usually divided into 3 or 9 areas. We have what we call down stage, center stage, and up stage. If we divide it into 3. If we divide it into 9, then we'll have down, it comes to down left, down center, down right. Then we have center left, center center, center right. Then we have up left, up center, and up right. Okay, those are the 9 spaces when we divide the stage. So it's the same technique that I used here of I knew that my downstage monitors will be on aux2. Then the subs, still the stage subs, will be on aux3. aux4, auxes are output channels on a mixer. Okay, auxes are the same as outputs on the mixers. Okay, I knew that the stage monitors, which were the side fields. Okay, the stage side fields were on aux4. Then I come to the front of house, which is the main output. Okay, they are to be in this is quite deep in matrix 1 and 2. I knew that that's where the main output will be coming in. Then the front of house subs or base speakers were to come out through aux9 and 10. See, you've already simplified the work. By the time you get on stage to connect, you know that you've already, someone is using a Zoom user, please switch to the original names. Whoever is using Zoom user, switch to the real names. So I was saying that because you've listed all these, by the time you come to start connecting, you know what mic goes to what channel. You know what speaker is coming out from a particular output. Okay, so that's it with the technical rider. Then the number of monitor speakers to deploy, I also went back to list that. The stage subs forecast, how many speakers do I need? I'll need 2. Then the stage monitors for the cast, still which are going to be on stage. The stage monitors, I had to list that I'll need 4 monitors on that stage. Then what other additional, then this was through doing like a proper analysis of what does the venue have, what doesn't the venue have. And then I had to list that I'll need to add another condenser microphones, because I knew I needed 3, but the venue could provide 2. Okay, so I knew that I need to get this additional microphone. Then the mixer is already there, but the stage or the venue didn't have a stage box, or call it a snake cable, to help me, like, because the mixer is far from the stage, I needed to have a cable that runs to the mixer and runs backstage, or wherever position I was to put it, to connect all these inputs. And then I run one cable to the mixer. I had to do all that early analysis, and be specific on what I need. Okay. Hope we are all okay with this example of the tech rider. I'll move on to the other thing. Okay, sorry. Problem solving issues. Like, how are you able to solve these different problems that might rise during this performance? You're most likely to have quite a lot that might happen and disrupt your smooth transition of the show. Okay. Some of the things that usually happen during the production is feedback. And feedback is often caused by microphones feeding into the speaker. And that this is usually because of overgaining, or the performer positioning the microphone in an angle that isn't really suitable for the speaker to resonate with the microphone. So how do you deal with that? Are you going to just mute the microphone, or are you just going to cut on the gain? Or do you need to talk to the performer that avoid this? Don't position this mic at this angle because of ABCD reasons, and it's bringing feedback. Okay. And this is something that you can avoid if you prepare your performers early during the rehearsals or the sound check time. You can talk to your performers and tell them that this microphone is this sensitive. So as you're using it, avoid positioning it to this angle or facing this side, or don't gain past this limit that I've set. Don't try to chat, because sometimes people are using mainly the wireless microphones, the lapels and so on. Someone who might accidentally just opens the body pack and gains the sensitivity. Are you able to prep your performers early to know how these things affect the production? Okay. Feedback, deal with it with adjusting your gain levels and prepping the team the right way. Know where to position the microphone. Then interference. Wireless systems can be interfered in so many ways during the production. Because they are wireless, we know that. That means they're dealing with frequencies, wireless frequencies. Sometimes you might be there and there is maybe a security detail that is moving across that venue. And so their frequencies tend to mix with the frequencies of the wireless microphone that you're using, or even the wireless system that you're using for controlling your mixer. How do you go about that? If you reach a venue, can you do what we call the frequency sweep search for the free frequencies, which frequencies are open that are not really busy or occupied by other details. Some spaces have frequency calendars. Some nations or states have the frequency calendars, and they will tell you that this particular frequency is used by the television side. This frequency is for radios. This frequency is for security. This frequency is for so and so and so. You get? Then you know that this is the free frequency. Or even on the body pack, as you open it, when you do the frequency sweep, it will show you where it's really stronger and where it's weak. And then you go for that. Okay? Then dead zones, areas in the audience space that are not fully covered by the sound. Sometimes we might place the speakers, but as you move around that performance venue, you realize that a particular spot has inadequate sound. How do you deal with that? Can you get extra speakers and place that? Or do you need to adjust your positions of the speakers that you already have on the venue if you don't have more? Or do you need to deal with the gain structure? Okay? Do analyze all this and then find the possible solutions. Okay? Next, still on the problem solving. Equipment failures are one of the most challenging issues to handling during the live performance. One of those is microphone dropouts. This is mainly with wireless microphones. We've talked about this. Them dropping. You are performing, but at a particular point, the microphone drops and you can only get bits of the sentence that the performer was saying. How do you plan for that? This takes me back to what I did with my rider here, where I had to plan because I knew that we might have signal dropouts. I prepped according and had backup condenser microphones for just in case. I wasn't certain that it will happen, but I told you, whatever may or can go wrong, whatever may go wrong can actually go wrong. So I had to prep accordingly. It's in the same spirit that we should also plan for that as a sound engineer or sound designer. Plan for that. Speaker failures. Sometimes you might be at the venue and then one of your speakers blows out because you've overgained and it couldn't manage that kind of volume. How do you plan for that? Can you have extra speakers on the like at the ground for just in case if a particular speaker gets damaged or a particular speaker, sorry, or if you need to add extra speakers in the venue? Okay. Sometimes you need to keep monitoring the venue. Go check or find someone to keep checking these speakers. The audience might be overexcited, and as they dance, they step into the cable and then it gets disconnected. Can you send someone to keep monitoring these speakers, more so in such critical environments where you don't have cable trunking to protect your cables from being interfered with by the audience? send someone to keep monitoring the speakers. If it gets off, they can reconnect it if it's the cable issue. If not, if it has blown out, get another speaker because the show must go on. The audience doesn't want to know about those issues. They've come to have good time. They've paid their money. Even if it's a free show, they've invested their time to come. They left their homes to come and party. You should fix that problem. Console problems. Sometimes as we are running shows, these consoles or mixers might just decide to misbehave. Sometimes go mute, like it gets a black screen or power issues. How have you planned for that? What if the mixer goes wrong, like gets some issues? Do you have a backup mixer? Or if power goes off, have you planned for that? That I have my CPU on the side for just in case power goes, as they switch to connect to other device, I know my mixer is still connected to this CPU for some good minutes. Okay? Can you plan for that so that the show doesn't go on? Oh, you know that you're working in areas that have power issues. Power goes on and off at any time, the way it wants. Have you carried a generator? Or for backup, or can you decide to say that the entire show, I won't trust this electricity, so I'm just going to run on generator full time so that I don't lose power? Do, or like I mentioned earlier, do the analysis of whatever might go wrong and plan accordingly. Do you have enough fuel if you're using the generator? And is the generator you're using of the right voltage? Sometimes you might bring in a generator which has like the speakers that you're using and the entire system, let it be the lights and so on, their voltage is way bigger than what the generator can handle. Can you do that analysis or know how much power do I need to use? Okay. The preventive measures, always have backup equipment. If you know that you, on your set, you need to use 15 microphones, can you carry 18 or 20 instead of just carrying the exact number? Can you carry extra cables? You have 15 performers. Why do you carry exactly 15 cables? Can you carry like double that for just in case a particular cable goes wrong, a microphone goes wrong, a speaker gets off? Do you have the backup? Because I will still emphasize, the show must go on. Yeah. Then run through the different tests before the performance. Sometimes we say, I will just come. If the show is happening at 6, yeah, I'll just come at 4 or 5. I'll be good to go. You didn't put into consideration that you need time to test your machines. What if you get there and then it fails to run and you don't have enough time before the show starts? Can you plan, as you're planning for that show, can you also prepare for test time? Okay. Do sometimes we call in sound, we call it sound check for bands and performers. Can you come and check? Because that's when you realize that, oh, this is not working. How can I overcome it? What can I adjust? Okay, this cable is messy, it gives me a buzz. Can I find another cable? You get? Then keep spare cables and batteries on hand. Okay? Keep spare cables And batteries. You go, you know that, okay, yeah, I will actually just go for the instrumentalists. You know that your guitar needs a particular battery. You've used the same battery for 10, 15 gigs. You've been performing on the same battery. And then you come for the 16th production, you think that your battery is still okay. In the middle of the performance, it goes down. You are deep in the village. You don't even have where to find that particular battery. What will happen? The show will not go on. Yet the show must go on. Carry spare batteries for anything that you might need. Okay? Then when it comes to feedback and interference solutions, managing feedback is really, really crucial, because even if it's you who is part of that audience and you're seated there, and then every time you feel something that is disturbing your ear, that high frequency of, it disrupts you, it takes you away from the performance. You've been in a particular zone, enjoying the flow of the performance, and then accidentally the microphone starts feeding. As an engineer, you shouldn't let that happen, because you know that particular second when the feedback happens, the audience is going to first drop from the performance. That means they are missing out on the flow. They might miss out certain lines, and it will be difficult for them to catch up. Okay. So for where we have a lot of feedback issues, can you use directional microphones, which can try to isolate whatever feedback is coming from the speakers? Can you mind about the distance between the speaker or the monitor and the microphone? The angle at which this microphone is facing the performer vis-a-vis the speaker, because the feedback won't come if the mic is facing the mouth direct, but it will happen if the mic gets into like face direct into the monitor or the speaker. I can do a quick experimental. Now that the microphone I'm using is just above me, and it can't feed because it's not facing the speakers or these monitors that I'm putting on. But if I do bring it closer, it might feed. Good enough, this is a dynamic mic, so it doesn't have that sharp feedback effect. If it was a condenser, it would really feed so easily. So are you able to do even the analysis of what kind of equipment I'm using to help me overcome this? Okay, where you place a speaker for a dynamic microphone will be different from where you place a speaker for a condenser microphone. Even when you're routing or like sending in these different microphones to these speakers, you should be able to know that I shouldn't route or send this microphone back to speaker B because it's close to that speaker and the microphone is highly sensitive. Okay. Then use graphical equalizers or feedback suppressors. Okay. You can, as during the sound check period, you can just suppress these frequencies that are really feeding back. This happens with digital mixers. You can do this. You find that frequency that is really sharp and is feeding, then you cut it. Okay. Use the frequency graphical curve. and then you cut out that particular frequency that is disturbing. But this can't happen during the show. You have to do it earlier. That's when you'll be able to identify that, oh, it's this kind of this particular frequency, and then you cut it. Okay. This goes for preparation. Then wireless interference can be minimized by ensuring that all devices are using separate frequencies. Okay. You shouldn't be having two wireless devices in the same frequency. At least have 3 digits apart. If one microphone is using the frequency band of 600.05, at least set the next microphone at 600.08, also, and so on. Okay. Or if they have this quick signal drop, you know that if the microphone is far away, like 10 meters or 5 meters away from the receiver, the transmit, I'm talking about the wireless microphones. If the wireless transmitter is 5 meters, the moment it crosses to 5 point certain meters, it drops. You already know that as an engineer. So use antennas to give you that boost. Okay. Use the antennas. They will help to cover that. That's why for those of you, you all use these mobile phones. You know that at a particular moment, you can be in a room, but there is that particular spot where the frequency is really strong. You can talk to the person and they are all hearing you well. You can get them very well. But if you move an inch from that spot, the frequency drops. So in most cases, these telecom companies keep adding masts at different points. They do that just to help. They are also antennas. They do that to cover that frequency drop. So as an engineer also, get familiar with your kind of wireless devices that you're using. Know in how much, like at what distance does this particular radio start dropping. They need to also understand what frequency band is it. If I have 20 wireless microphones and all the 20 are in the same frequency band, let's say the frequency band of 600, 680. Is that enough for you? Can you be able to have all the 20 wireless microphones be covered in that frequency band? If not, then know that I'll only use 10 wireless microphones in this frequency band, and then I get the other 10 in another frequency band, let's say 800 or 700 frequency band, or whichever frequency band according to how they are listed for that particular brand. Okay, than having the same band and then you'll end up having a lot of interference. Then I talked about the communication systems during the show. Communication is really, really crucial during the show because if you're in most cases, you won't run the show alone. You might need to communicate with the light team. You might need to communicate with the director or the production manager. You might need to communicate with your assistant. How are you going to communicate? Okay. How will you be able to know that this particular device is off? Or how will you be able to send your assistant to go and adjust whatever you need to be adjusted? So get the communication system earlier, plan for that. Unless you want to really keep shouting for the audience, as you communicate to the sound assistant that, hey, you run and connect the speaker B, it's off. It's in the middle of the production. You're interfering the audience. You're distracting the audience. You're like, yo, okay? So get the intercom systems ready. These are used, you can decide, you can do the full analysis earlier. You know that I have 15 people to talk to, or I have 5 people to talk to. That's my director, the lights person, the stage Sorry about that. Hope you can now get me. I need to, let me reshare.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Apology for that. We had some power issues here. So, but now we're back. So I was talking about the communication systems. Get to count how many people are going to be on set. How many people do you need to be communicating with? And what exactly can you use during this communication? Are you going to use the red walkie-talkies, or are you going to use the proper intercom system, or are you going to be using texts, or are you going to be using phone calls? Be able to identify what system will be applicable according to the budget and what is really available for use. Okay, I've listed all those to give you options, because the facility might not be able to own radio calls or any other intercom system, but it's able to provide you with a, yeah, you yourself, you have a phone and your colleague has a phone. So in case of any emergency, you are using texts or calls, or you know that you have to run to the person and tell them that this has happened. Identify the communication channel. Then cue sheets. Organize your sound cues to ensure that you are properly on the right time. Know when you have to play what. If it's not you playing the tracks directly, can you preempt preempt that person and tell them that at ABCD time you have to do this? You'll be playing this particular sound effect. Even remind them earlier that in a minute you'll be playing this track, or after this action you'll be playing this music track. Okay, then backup plans. In case of intercom failures, have a secondary method of communication. Like you can just be using, this is mainly done by musicians in most cases. They can be on set and then they just raise their hands and use the hand signal, wave to the sound engineer, and then they'll be like, okay, in these monitors down here, increase my vocal up, or increase my instrument up, or reduce on my instrument. By hand signal, you're already showing the the engineer that, hope with my guitar, try to cut on the volume. You're using the hand signal. So find the alternative communication measures. Okay. Yeah, we've actually already crossed to the, now we are talking of problem solving measures on set. Earlier, we are talking about the technical rider. Now we've crossed to problem solving, or on set problem solving. Okay. Yeah, regulations and safety standards. Following regulations and safety standard is necessary to protect both the audience and the crew. There is a time when I mentioned that safety is really key. You need to do the analysis of whatever that can go wrong. Be it from the stage setting, where are you positioning your speaker? Won't it come and hit the audience member or even one of your crew members? the cables, how they are being arranged. Won't they trip a performer basing on how they are running all over the stage? Analyze and get to analyze all the possible accidents that might occur on set, and then you prep accordingly. Okay, so that if something happens, you already know how to counterattack that. Then in most cases, we think about safety measures, and we are thinking of these big accidents. Let's say someone falling or someone tripping, something, a speaker falling, a stage falling, power going down, and we forget about this other crucial thing as engineers, the levels, the sound levels. This is another issue that can affect you, the engineer, the crew members, and the audience, because you've set your gain levels really high. So for audience safety, ensure that sound level stays between 80, we mentioned 85 to 90 dBs, or even something lower than that. You can be between 80 to 90. Okay, so that you don't affect the person's ears, even your ears. As an engineer, you feed on your ears. Me usually argue with some of my friends when they come and do start banging like crazy stuff around my ears. I'd be like, yo, you're playing with my capital. My capital is the ear. If I lose my ears, I won't be able to operate. I won't be able to pay for my bills. So you never know that even part of the audience members, you have people who feed on their ears. So you need to mind about your gain structure. Okay. Who can remind us of what dB stands for?
It's decibel.
Decibel. And how do we okay. Thank you. I'm seeing other comments in the comment section. Thank you. How do we measure decibel? Or how can we tell the difference in decibels?
Well, it's the level of sound. It's the how do we say that? It's louder music, or if it's music, louder sound or less loud.
It's basically a difference between the soft and loudest, like the loudest point. That's when you know that, okay, this is loud, this is, because you have your meter. Okay. Then moving on to other safety measures, all crew members should wear protective gear. Okay. Not just the ear protection gear that helps to protect their ears from the loud sources, but also wear gloves. If you're carrying heavy stuff, you might damage your fingers. Wear safety boots. You're running all over cables. What if there is a power cable that is open and it can affect you? Wear helmets. We are moving on stage. You never know, a light can get loose and it gets down, it hits you. You might be walking and then you trip in the cables and the speaker comes down on your head. Can you wear these different protective gears to protect not just the ear, but your entire body? Okay? Safety is really key, because if you get the injury, they will rush you to the hospital and the audience will keep enjoying because the show must go on. Okay. This is an example of the gain structure. This the SPL chart. You see down here it's at 0 dB. At 10 dB, that's the breathing. At 20 dB, we have you can now be able to hear the rustling of leaves and so on, and those other elements that fall under that volume level. Then the whispers can come out at 30 dB. Refrigerator at 40, you can hear that chilo groove sound. Then the moderate rainfalls, it's really faint at 50. Then conversations, they're really moderate at 60. Then you come to the car traffic or city traffic when they're really loud, it's at 70. Then loud trucks at 80. And then air dryers at 90. These are, you see, so be able to control your levels between 80 and 90. Because helicopters are at 100 dB. Oh, imagine if these were just always close in our environments. What would our ears be feeding on? They will be really damaged if we are living around there, around these helicopters. This is the reason as to why you find that most of the people working at the airstrips, airports and stuff and so on, they always have protective gear for their ears, because these helicopters and planes are really, their engines are really, really loud. If you don't protect the ears, yeah, within a few weeks, your ears will be down and you can't work anymore. Then the trombone, it's at 110. I hope you all understand the trombone. And then the silene, it's at 120. The jet engine is at 130 SPL. Then the fireworks it's really, and they say threshold of pain. At 140, you'll start really feeling that pain in the ears and your head will start bouncing and you're like, okay, what's happening? Okay. So not to affect the audience and you yourself, keep your gain structure at or gain level at 80, between 80 and 90, so that you don't affect yourself and the audience that has come to enjoy the production. They've come to have fun, not to go back with some other diseases that they didn't come with. Then we are still on the health and safety measures. Protecting the hearing of our sound engineers and other crew members is paramount, okay? Because I've mentioned, as a sound engineer, you're feeding on your ears. So if you don't protect it, yeah, you will find another job to do to pay for the bills. So be able to monitor the decibel levels during the loud moments. Let your ears always be alert to know that, okay, this particular instrument is so loud now, I need to cut it. This actor has increased on their projection, I need to cut their level. This musician is now really giving us her full voice, I need to cut, because it's not just giving you bad sound, but it's affecting your ears. Yeah, if it was just giving you distorted sound, well and good. But yeah, just know that you've not done the right job because your sound is distorting. But if it reaches a point of affecting your ears, and the ears of the audience members, then you don't deserve to be on that desk running sound. Schedule regular breaks from high volume environment. This is during rehearsals and performances. Some people who go for electronic music, mainly the DJ, because they're just DJing, I'd never experienced it until 2022. I used to see one of the sound engineers when I was working on one of the stages in Nyege Nyege, which was playing electronic music. It's called Darkstar stage. It's like the sound engineer could randomly step out, and I came to learn it later that, oh, he was actually just going to have a break from this particular noise. I was a sound assistant to another engineer who was recording, and many of the times when he could keep the monitors on, but after some minutes, he would just put off the headphones, and yeah, he's just giving his ears a break because they've been all through been enclosed in these headphones. Is getting the volumes and the sound full blast, so he needs to get a break. So he could just tell me, okay, every after like 20 minutes, he could tell me, now it's your time to monitor. And after 20 or something minutes, he also comes and takes on. And yeah, I thank him that he guided me. Every time he was in a break, he could even step out of this particular performance venue. He stretches. So as you also plan for these rehearsals, plan for these mini breaks so that you give your ears some breathing space. You're still on balancing sound. So achieving a balanced sound mix, ensure that every member of the audience has a consistent audio or auditory experience. So this is by you keeping or being able to monitor that, okay, my volume was at 50 when I had 120 people. Now I have 200 people. Should I keep it at the same level, or do I need to gain? And that doesn't work on just increasing. Even when you know that, okay, I had my gain level at 70% out of 100. But that time of being at 70, I had 400 people. Right now I have 200. Should you keep your levels that high, or do I need to cut? Then you're moving around the venue. You have some dead spots where audio is not really enough. The people in the front are really having good moment in enjoying this sound, but the people far back are not having the same experience. What do? Can you add other speakers in these dead spots so that everyone who comes to this production gets the same experience in terms of audio? Then audience distribution. Consider the seating arrangement and use the delay system in large venues to avoid echo. Sometimes it's almost close to what I've just entered on. If you are in a larger venue, can you, and you've extended some speakers, you have different speaker systems. You have the main PA that is really in front, and then you've added some speakers at like at the far end. These speakers won't be in the same time. Can you delay those that need to be delayed so that they're all in sync? Okay, so that there is no, the person at the front is not getting something, and then a few seconds later the person at the back is getting it because you've not balanced your speakers. So as we mentioned it earlier in script analysis, you also need to do your venue analysis. Analyze that. Okay, if I just use this PA at the front, will everyone be served equally, or do I need to add some speakers? How are the people seated? How people are seated will determine how you place your speakers. Okay. Then sound delays. Use strategic speaker placement to prevent sound from reaching different sections at different times. That's something that I've just hinted on, that delay the speakers that need to be delayed so that sound is traveling at the same point, like everyone is receiving the same information, not other speakers or like being in a different time. Okay, these digital devices that we use give you that capacity to delay certain speakers or play around with your sound system, okay, to cut out the echoes, delay, and so on. Controlling your sound levels is and understanding acoustic in theater is really, really vital. Understanding how that venue sounds is really vital. Is it echoish? And if it's echoish, how are you going to deal with that? Can you use some acoustic panels to minimize on the echoes at that venue? Mainly if you have those hard surfaces. If you can't, yeah, you can use some of these panels, like the way you see in the back in this studio, that have these black panels that you're seeing. We place them in to help us cut on the reverberation in the room. You can do the same for some venues by adding in other. If you don't have these panels, can you use blankets? If you can use them, can you use carpets? Can you use other like heavy furniture if the venue permits you to use them, if it's really in line with the production design? Use these other different materials to help you cut on the echoes in this venue so that the audience enjoys the performance, they get the right experience. You can do actually measure the space before you set up everything. Do the echo testing, okay? Then adjust sound levels based on the size of the venue to ensure even sound distribution. Not being in a small room and then you're playing sound at a level of the level that you'll be using at a playground. It's the same. Not playing like having your sound level adjusted to a point Apologies, I keep having power issues. But yeah, I'm now back. Let me reshare the screen and then we are about to finish. Okay. So I was talking about like sound levels. It's not good for you to play sound that like at a level that is just fit for a small room and it's the same level that you're playing for people who are like outdoor in a bigger space. So understand the kind of venue you are dealing with and then adjust your levels according to that. One, the size of the venue. Two, how many people are in that space. Okay. For smaller spaces, reduce on the number of speakers. Don't you overload the small venue with too many speakers. Use the right number of speakers and also have your gain structure really right. Then for wide spaces, you can need to use Spectacolo for you to be able to cover that particular venue. Stage acoustics can often cause problems such as echoes or muffled sound. So always be able to analyze the texture of the stage surface. Sometimes you might be provided with a stage that is made out of metal. Can you use some materials like carpets and so on, and like find the areas which have this resonance and cut it, dampen it, deal with the structure accordingly. If it's a hard structure like concrete, how do you deal with that? Okay. Can you use the right material to help you cut on this echo? I've already mentioned some of the things that you can use: carpets, these panels, blankets, furniture, other clothes, rubber, and so on. Then use stage monitors or format. Is really crazy and the performers can't hear themselves well. Give them in, or can you give them enough stage monitors so that they are able to listen to other people that they are performing with and also listen to themselves, like know what that their voice is out there, so that they don't crack it. If they can't hear themselves well, they'll shout, and in the end, they'll damage their voices. That's not something that you might really be interested in as an engineer. Okay. Then ensuring sound is balanced across the stage so that performers can hear themselves and like as they perform. I give refer to this technical rider that I shared earlier. You saw that I used stage monitors all over. It was basically for the audience, sorry, performers to be able to listen to themselves. Okay. These stage monitors, they had a stage monitor downstage in front of them, and then they have one upstage, like two stage monitors. They had a total of 4 stage monitors. But because these tracks that they were listening to had some other details that have to be supported by a bass speaker or a sub, that's how I ended up using these sub monitors. Is it okay to put speakers one across the other, or upper. Yeah, it depends on the kind of space that you're dealing with. So you have to do your personal analysis as you run through this, as you set up, you have to do a personal. Okay, you need to know that, is the speaker really serving me right if I put it close, and what volume is each speaker. What the audience.
I'm sorry, I haven't heard you. Internet was cutting.
Internet was cutting. Oh, sorry. I said that when you're at the venue, do the personal analysis to know that this is the right position for the speaker. Because these speakers, you tune them at different levels, volume levels. If you pile like 5 of them in front of the performer and they are all loud, won't they affect the performer? So as you decide to put like 2 close to each other or behind, it's all about, it depends on the size of the space or the stage and the volume. Then the aesthetic beauty of the stage should also be considered. Not having 10 speakers on the stage, and it makes it look really tidy and ugly. So you have to consider so many aspects before you place these speakers. Because the main purpose is for the speaker to help the performer or whoever is really listening to it be able to hear what they need to listen to. So if they can listen to those details in one speaker, well and good. If they need to be balanced, that they need to have surrounding sound, then go for that. It's your personal analysis and what the performer desires.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then, for everything that you do as a sound person or a production person, be able to do pre-production. Prep before you go to the venue. Prep when you reach at the venue. Test these different machines that you're going to use before the show starts. Okay? Carry out sound check. Test all microphones if they are really functioning. Test the speakers if you don't have any that is distorted. If you have one that is distorted or not functioning well, can you switch it? You need to do this before the show starts. Prep, prep, and prep. Then sync the cues. If you need to coordinate with the lighting person or any other technical department, are you in sync? Have you agreed on what prompts your transitions? If you need to send, as a sound engineer, you need to send a channel to the lighting console, because in most cases, these lights, the light designers also set their designs according to transitions or the tempo in sound. So in most cases, they will ask that, send me a channel to, like a channel straight from the sound mixer to the light mixer, so that they can leave it to have that sound effect into their mixes. Can you be able to coordinate with everyone and agree on your whatever you need to use during the show, than waiting and then you start clashing during the production? Okay? Really take time and prep with the team. So we've come to the end of this class, and today we've really tackled the importance of technical riders and why you need to send it early enough and develop one. Problem solving strategies for common sound issues, and effective sound balancing techniques for different venues. I'll leave the floor open for any questions that you have. If you have anything that you need clarity on, you can raise it. If you have a question, feel free.
I wanted to ask something.
Yes, Jasna.
I was wondering, how do you sweep for frequencies? You mentioned the frequency calendar and the frequency sweep, and how is that done? Do you have some special equipment for that, or is it something that we can find in mixers or some additional equipment?
This is done on the very gadget that you're using, your wireless transmitters and receivers. There is where you have the frequency search. When you patch into that, when you open that device and try to move through it, you'll find where there is frequency, and then you go into frequency search or search for available free frequencies. For clarity on this, or for more information on this, you can go on YouTube and search for clips on how to deal with wireless frequency transmission. Sorry, sweep, how to navigate through the frequencies. Then for frequency calendar, it's the same. You can Google and then get the frequency calendar for all frequency chart for the different locations. You can just type in what's the frequency chart or frequency calendar for Kampala. For
okay,
Uganda.
so it's for wireless devices.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's mainly done on you can set it on the transmitter or the receiver, and then after you sync the two gadgets. Okay. Yes, Mazimpaka, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. I wanted to ask about the equalizing.
Yeah.
At times on these ordinary mixers, there is a button for low, a button for mid, a button for high. Yes. Now, do those three have the different? I mean, do they have a specific functions? Why do I need high in my sound? Why do I need mid in my sound? And why do I need low in my sound?
Okay, thank you. In one of the classes, we talked of the frequency chart. The highs, like you hear high, these are the high frequencies, the sharp frequencies that are really, if a high pitch, okay? And for low, that's basically the low frequencies, that's the sub, the bass. So why they are there is those particular knobs are to help you know if I need to gain or reduce on the bass that I have in this particular mix or this particular channel. Okay, then I will if I need to cut on the bass, I'll touch on the low frequencies or even the mids. It's the same. So it's, as a sound engineer, the more you get familiar with these different frequency levels, then you know which particular frequency to cut, whether it's to cut with from the eyes, or if you're to cut from I don't know if you can all see this. We have, so each channel has that. It has the high frequency knob, it has the mid frequency knob, low frequency knob. So if I need to, if the jitter is too sharp in the highs, that means I'll cut on the high frequency knob. If it's sounding boomy and so on, I might play with my mid range, either gain or reduce. Similar with the low. So each channel, you know that you have to deal with it. It has this. Even the main channel, you'll have to deal with it in that particular order. So maybe you can always feel free to go and read more about the frequencies. There is a class that we talked about frequencies. Maybe you need to revisit that, get more proper understanding of these different frequencies, and then you know when to cut what. Have I answered you well?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question, if it's okay.
It's okay.
I was wondering, when we have interference with, for example, with the microphone where the gain is a bit high because it's using like a whisper or something like that. Is it maybe possible to find on the mixer a special, some particular frequency that interferes with and makes that kind of noise or interference, and maybe lower it down, maybe in the highs, or you know, like before we reduce gain, to find the specific frequency that we can reduce. I don't know if I'm clear enough.
Yes, you can do that. I hinted on it when we are talking about frequencies, dealing with frequencies and feedback. So as you set your system, before you touch sometimes even the gain, you can go, mainly this happens with digital mixers, you can open the frequency chart and then it will show you what to cut. Because if you're really experienced, you can use your ears to tell that it's the high mids that are disturbing me, it's the low mids, or it's the low frequencies, or it's the high frequencies that are disturbing me in this particular, and then you will use the frequency that to cut if you identify that this is the frequency that is really disturbing me. Let's separate this. We have frequencies that deal with wireless transmissions. We shouldn't mix the frequencies of wireless transmission with the frequencies of live mixing, the highs and so on. Highs, that's more with the EQ. Okay? This is with the EQ for the
Okay,
mixer.
Okay.
And then
the
other frequencies for wireless transmissions, we deal with like changing the frequency bands.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, thank you. I was actually I have a problem as of several years ago that my ear reacts specifically to one or several close frequencies. And it reacts. It's an increased sensitivity to some special frequency that other people around me never, they don't notice or don't have any problems. It's something that I was wondering how to. But this is this is the third kind of a problem. It's like this is a hearing problem, and I was actually going to check my hearing if something is wrong with it, and nothing special was happening there. So the hearing is not like impaired. It's just some specific sensitivity to some range of frequencies or something like that.
Okay. Do you do sound professionally?
Well, I don't know. No, I'm just a musician. I'm a singer, but you know, I have been using equipment for a very long time, and I have introduced myself partially to the things that I have been in contact, but you know, it's not so much.
Okay, yeah.
And I
Now,
wanted to thank you so much because this course and this workshop has been so informative and good for me. And, you know, like, thank you so much. And both you and your colleague, you know, like, you were very interesting. And, you know, like, I don't have the feeling that you used some, you know, like terminologies that are too heavy. So thank
it's
you. Thank you so much.
you are welcome. What might be causing that particular thing is because you've been in the practice for long, and now your ears are more sensitive than other people. That might be causing the cause for that. It's known that you have a problem, but you're very sensitive. Your ears can hear something that another person can't hear. And if you want to really balance that, find out if it's not a problem, you can be like you can experiment the same track that has maybe that particular frequency at with different gadgets. You can use different headphones, and then you see if it's still the same problem. Then you know that you're really sensitive to those kind of frequency ranges. And then, yeah, you can always ask your engineer to cut that out, because if you're very sensitive to that, it can even end up distracting you during the performance. So because you're now sensitive to that, you can always ask the engineer that, okay, help me cut this particular frequency out slightly lower so that I'm comfortable, my ears will be better balanced.
I would
Mainly,
really love to find out what that frequency is, and I think I will really try.
is it you can just keep testing if it's the high ones or the mid one. Okay,
It's the high. It's the
it's the
high,
high, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
then you can.
it is with combination with the, you know, like some really crazy amount of decibels as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the I think people, at least here, you know, like at least my experience is that there are very few good sound engineers, and in the end, you end up, you know, like really in a very, very destructive sound environment. You know, it's too big noise, you know, like something that it's not very healthy for your ears, you know, like, and but people that are not so sensitive, they do not feel that.
Yeah. One, what I can advise is, if you're on stage performing, ask the sound engineer to give you the levels, the right decibels that you feel comfortable listening to when you're on stage. If you're in a position in another location where you don't have much control, you're not performing, but you've been there, maybe if you feel like your ears are really being disturbed, you excuse yourself. Avoid such spaces, because at the end of the day, you feed on your ear.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. That's the real right advice.
You're welcome. Or you can even use sometimes use the small ear pads. You can put them in if you know that I'm going in a very, or you can just carry them with you anytime you find a location that is really disruptive and you still need to be around the friends and stuff. Put in your protective gear. Let the
Yeah,
others suffer. You
I
yourself.
actually already started searching for the right ones for me.
Yeah, there are those small ones. Sometimes they give out at like in transit. Different airlines sometimes give them out. You can start with those small ones that the airlines give, because they also might. They are also trying to cut from how heavy the engines are. So you can start with those, and then yeah, move on.
Yeah, I also wanted to maybe if we have time to to share an experience. We were performing at a festival, a musical festival this June, and we had problem with the sound engineer. So it's probably the biggest problem of my work. You know, it was in Portugal, and the sound engineer actually either didn't know what to do or he didn't want to do it. So I was so frustrated that all the audience and everyone were waiting for at least half an hour for the sound to be made, and everything was late. That I was so frustrated that I really wanted to know how to do it myself, you know. So now in the end it appeared when another guy came that he actually just needed to unmute something on his tablet.
Wow. Okay. One of
And
the
it almost
things
destroyed us.
one of the things you should know is sound engineers are very fragile people. They are moody people. So how you, not just sound engineers, but performers or creatives, how you approach those people is really key. How you communicate to them is really key. Sometimes you need to handle them like the way you handle babies. So how you handle different engineers and so on is really key. If you need to babysit them, read the mood, babysit them. If you need, yeah, I will excuse myself from using some languages, but yeah, just be nice sometimes. Yeah, handle them well, because at the end of the day, you are the one who is on that stage. It's the audience is seeing you and they think it's you with the problem. So try to find ways of solving that. And it's nice that someone came to help. Sorry about that. But yeah, sound engineers need to be pampered sometimes.
And you know, including everything, it was a really great performance.
Nice.
In the end.
Yeah. Any other? Do you have any other person with an inquiry or a submission? Okay, I'll take that we are all okay with what you've done. I'll say have a blessed week, and looking forward to listening to your creations of that script. Have fun and stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.